£6? No. Get out of here. £6.02 for a Kindle, for an ebook that I don't even own. Are you joking me? Hello and welcome back. My name is India and I happen to read a lot. And today we are doing my first ever challenge on this channel. Don't get overwhelmed because I already am. My goal at the beginning of this year for 2025 was to read more fantasy books. I felt like I read a good amount of fantasy, but I wanted to really dedicate my time to basically all the fantasy books that I was buying and being like, oh my God, I'm going to read this, and then just wouldn't. Obviously. I wanted to go back to my roots and read more fantasy books. And I, for the last 2 and a bit months, have not been doing that. I've not been doing that. Sorry. I was thinking about what is the best way. I just need to get back onto it. I was looking at my TBR and then I I was reminded that last year for the 2024 Goodreads Choice Awards for the Fantasy Longlist, I owned about half of the longlist and I hadn't read a single one. And last week I was kind of doing some market research for like, what kind of videos could I do? Because I felt like I wanted to do something a little bit more than what I was doing. And a lot of what I was seeing were people reading stuff from the Goodreads Choice Awards, talking about it. And I thought, I own so many of those fantasy books on that long list. Just read those. So that is what this is. You will be joining me. God knows how long this is going to take, but you will be joining me as I read nearly, there are some rules that I must discuss, I'll be reading nearly every single book on the long list, and I'll be telling you my thoughts, my personal rating, my personal ranking, what I thought won. So rule number 1 is that I don't want to reread any books that I've already read. So no rereading. That being said, I've already read one on the long list and I read it this year. So that's kind of not too bad. And the second rule is, for me personally myself, I'm not going to be reading any books on the long list that are sequels in regards to, for example, the winner, this is ironic, is the second book in the House in the Cerulean Sea series. If it was like Bookshops and Bone Dust, where it's a prequel to Legends and Lattes and you can read Bookshops and Bone Dust without knowing anything about Legends and Lattes, that would be different. But all the books on the long list that are sequels are all interconnected. You have to read the first one to understand the second one. So I'm just avoiding that because I am not reading, in one case, 4 more books to understand book 5. I'm not doing that. So yeah. I'm not rereading any books and I'm not reading sequels if I haven't read the previous books. That is the only rule. Apart from that, the world's my oyster. I am deciding as well to go from the least amount of votes to the top. Let's get into it and let's go through the TBR for what I'm going to read. So here we are. Oh, here is the list. We have the beautiful long list, and I actually own a good amount on this list. So these are the ones that I own. I own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I own 6 of the long list books. Oh my God, I'm like, where do I even put this? I want you to see them. Let's place them here. But let's discuss. So the first one on the list, I have to get my trusty little laptop out. The first on the list with 3,048 votes is A Sweet Sting of Salt by Rose Sutherland. And it says, a young woman uncovers a dark secret about her neighbour and his mysterious wife, and she'll have to fight to keep herself and the woman she loves safe in this stunning, queer reimagining of the classic folktale, The Selkie Wife. Okay, that seems fun. So that's the first one I'm going to be reading. Then we have the first one that I physically own. This is going to be a nightmare. I'm going to put these down and just grab as and when. 3,635 votes. We have The Dead Cattail Assassins by P. Jelly Clark. I have a feeling, my initial assumption is this is going to be quite high on the list because I love P. Jelly Clark's work. His book, A Master of Gin, was in my top 20 for 2023. I loved all of his short stories. Last year I read Spring Shout. I loved it. It was so good. When will P. Jolly Clark bring out the second book in the Master of Jinn series? God knows. But I will, as I wait for that, I will gladly read The Dead Cattail Assassins. And I'm going to be honest with you. I actually don't know what this is about because I just saw the author and went, I trust him. Here's my money. So this book follows Aveen. She is an assassin and it's about how she is sent on a job and she has like these 3 rules, and the last rule is that you must finish the job no matter what. And she gets sent on a job that ends up bringing back up the past, and she has to face a lot of her own past and her own truth on this job. And I'll be honest with you, it's during the Festival of the Clockwork King. If any of you know anything about me, I am a steampunk fiend. I fucking love steampunk. Some people really hate it. I personally love it. So A Clockwork King has me very interested. But yes, so this is the one I'll be reading after A Sweet Sting of Salt. My theory is very, very much this will be rated highly. So next on the list is one I also own. That's 4,180 votes. It is Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. Loads of my friends have read Voyage of the Damned, so I do actually know the ending, so that might infringe on my enjoyment. But it's a magical fantasy murder mystery, and I believe people can change and shapeshift into animals. I think that's right. I do know it does include a couple of my least favourite tropes. I have a couple of least favourite tropes. I don't like the amnesia trope. It's rarely done well. I don't like surprise twin or like at all. That irks me. Surprise twin rarely works for me. The only time that's ever done the amnesia trope correctly is The Promised Neverland. I won't go into the reasoning why, but it makes sense, and it's the only existence of the amnesia trope that I think works. But based on what I've had my friends say, because I did say, oh my god, no, tell me all of your thoughts. I'm not going to read this. But I don't think it's going to be super high, just because I actually can't remember the intricacies of the ending, but I do know it utilizes a couple of tropes which I hate. So we'll see. We'll see how this fares. Then with 4,282 votes, it's Lev Grossman's The Bright Sword, which is an Arthuriana retelling, which I already own. So this is chunky as hell. When I get around to reading this, how many pages is this? My copy is 674 pages. My god. So this is, I know it's an Arthuriana retelling. So this is set after King Arthur has died at Camlan, and it follows Nimue, who is the Lady of the Lake. For those of you who don't know, I, for one night and one night only, played the Lady of the Lake in Spamalot, the musical, at my local theatre. I absolutely sang the shit out of those songs. I did forget my lines, which is ironic because I had like 10. Most of my job was just serving face and singing. So, if you trust... Anyway, but yeah, so it just follows the outcasts of the Round Table, the ones that nobody really cares about, and the Lady of the Lake, and this dude that wanted to be a knight, as they try to find the balance in Britain because King Arthur's dead. So, fingers crossed. I like it. It's quite interesting because the margins are massive, but the writing is tiny. So we'll see. My friend Morgan, friend of the channel, Morgan, really loves Lev Grossman's books. Loves them. The Magician's trilogy, they love. So hopefully I enjoy this. I don't know whether they've read it. Hopefully it's good. It's just super chunky, which is what I wanted and what I said. I need to stop being intimidated by chunky fantasy books. So next on the list, which is one that I don't own, with 4,747 votes, it is KX Song's The Night Ends with Fire. What did he say about this? So obviously I will order this one as I get to the end of The Bright Sword because I want to read them in that order. Infused with magic and romance, this sweeping fantasy adventure inspired by the legend of Mulan, love, follows a young woman determined to choose her own destiny, even if it means going against everyone she loves. The 3 kingdoms are at war, but Maylin's father refuses to answer the imperial draft. Trapped by his opium addiction, he plans to sell Maylin for her dowry. Girl! When Maylin discovers her husband to be another violent, ill-tempered man, she realises that nothing will change for her unless she takes matters into her own hands. Slay. It's giving very, very beginning of the Poppy War. The very next day she disguises herself as a boy. Why am I shocked? I've seen Mulan. A prince turned training partner. Classic. Love it. Sea dragon spirit that offers her true power and freedom with a deadly price. Right. It is giving slightly, and I'm not saying it's the same thing, because it's not. But I guess slightly Poppy War vibes. Has it been comped? They probably comped Poppy War. Oh, wait, is the Sea Dragon Spirit a love interest, potentially? Oh my god, wait. Sky, who inspires her loyalty and love. The Sea Dragon Spirit, who has his own murky agenda. Or an infuriating enemy prince. Get it, girl? Who makes her question everything she wants to know about her kingdom, about her own heart. Hopefully, this is going to be good. So, that one is still in hardback. I'm going to spend so much money. Oh my god! It's on a 99p deal! Bye now. Well, thank God I checked. So after that, with 5,726 votes, we have When Among Crows by Veronica Roth, which I know is super, 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 super tiny. When Among Crows is swift and striking, drawing from the deep well of Slavic folklore and asking if redemption and atonement can be found in embracing what we fear most. It's the first in a series. It's also set in Chicago. Monstrous magical underworld. Pick the mythical fern flower and offer it to a cursed creature in exchange to help finding the legendary witch Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga? Baba Yaga? But with a J. Baba Yaga. That is what it is. It's with a Y. Arla is a fear-eating Zmora afflicted with a bloodline curse that's slowly killing her. She's just desperate enough to say yes. Demetria? Oh, God. I'm butchering this. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay. So it's set over the course of one night as Alla and Dimitri risk life and limb in search of Baba Yaga and begin to build a tentative friendship. But nothing is as it seems. This is 166 pages. That's crazy. £6? No. Get out of here. £6 and 2 pence for a Kindle, for an ebook that I don't even own. Are you joking me? Next on the list with 6,222 votes is The Warm Hands of Ghosts. Now, I have a copy of that somewhere in this house, but it is lost. I have actually read The Warm Hands of Ghosts already. I read it. I enjoyed it. I'll do a whole thing with my ranking at the end. I enjoyed it. I am a massive fan of Catherine Arden's The Winter Night trilogy. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It was so good. I cried at the end of it. So I was really excited to read this. I liked it. It's just the pacing was so slow. So I think I gave it 3.5 stars. I think if the pacing was faster, I would have enjoyed it more. With slow-paced books, if it gets to a point where, like, it becomes a slog to read through, my brain shuts down. And my brain doesn't want to pick up the book because I'm like, every time I read it, I feel like I'm wading through mud. And that's kind of what started happening at the end of The Warm Hands of Ghosts. So I do think that's going to be a little bit low on the list. But we've actually already done one. Yay! Then we have A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang, with 7,438 votes. I'm pretty sure I've read an Anne Liang book. I have. If You Could See the Sun. I audiobooked If You Could See the Sun by Anne Liang, and I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. So I have high hopes. So, A Song to Drown Rivers, inspired by the legend of Cixi, one of the famous 4 beauties of ancient China. A Song to Drown Rivers is an epic historical fantasy about womanhood, war, sacrifice, and love against all odds. Cixi's beauty is seen as a blessing to the villagers of Yue, convinced that the best fate for a girl is to marry well and support her family. When Cixi draws the attention of a famous young woman to advise her family, he presents her with the rare opportunity to use her beauty as a weapon. As a daughter of Aphrodite. Love. One that could topple the rival neighbouring kingdom of Wu. Nempiring? What am I saying? Neighbouring kingdom of Wu. She's got to be a spy, seduce their immoral king. Ooh. Let's have a look. That'd be quite interesting. That is a standalone as well. Then we move on to A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher, which has 8,073 votes. I also don't own this one. I have read T. Kingfisher before. I read... Oh, what was it, the one that I read? It was the Sleeping Beauty retelling that she did. Thornhedge. And I gave that 4 stars and I really enjoyed it. This, A Sorceress Comes to Call, is a dark retelling of Brothers Grimm's Goose Girl, rife with secrets, murder, and forbidden magic. I will say, I've said this before, I'll say it again, I don't really care at the moment for Greek mythology fiction retellings. Not non-fiction, non-fiction is different. But fiction retellings don't really care. I do love a good fairy tale retelling though. I don't know what it is. I think I like the dark elements of it. So Cordelia knows her mother is unusual. Their house doesn't have any doors between rooms and her mother doesn't allow Cordelia to have a single friend unless you count for Lada, her mother's beautiful white horse. Oh, okay, this looks really good. Oh, this sounds exciting. I think this could do quite well. I have faith in T. Kingfisher, so I think this could do quite well. Then, the next one is 8,243 votes. It is An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson, which I own. Da-da-da. Here we are. This is my copy of Academy for Liars. I have read both The Year of the Witching and House of Hunger. And House of Hunger, I believe one of them made it to my central reading guide of books that I love. So I have a lot of faith in Alexis Henderson. An Academy for Liars is an academic fantasy. I'm gonna maybe throw a wrench in the works here. I am over. There are very... I feel like I must come across as a reader that's hard to please, but I don't think I am. I just get oversaturated by things very, very quickly. And academic fantasies, dark academia fantasy is one of them. Also, anything that is a set of deadly competitions, I'm kind of over those as well. So when I received this, I was really excited because I was like, oh, new Alexis Henderson, sign me up. And then I read the blurb and I was like, ooh, dark academia, I'm unsure. So our main character, Lennon, gets a mysterious phone call inviting her to sit the entrance exam for somewhere very few have heard of, Drayton College, a school of magic hidden in the secret pocket of Savannah. Lennon has been chosen because she is special. She possesses the innate gift of persuasion, the ability to wield her will like a weapon and use it to control others and in rare cases matter itself. Everything is just giving child of Aphrodite. I'm just saying. Charm speak, anybody? After passing the grueling exam, she must now learn how to master this power. There's some romance in it. We've got a mention of somebody called Dante. So she uncovers more about the unsettling history of Drayton and Dante's tragic and violent past, and she's increasingly disturbed by what she finds. Now, what I want to say is Alexis Henderson's very good at horror, and I'm thinking if it's set in Savannah, there's going to be a lot of ties that are similar to House of Hunger and The Year of the Witching, just in the themes of the books that she includes. So I should have a lot of faith in Alexis Henderson because I've loved everything that she's written so far. But this is another one for the list. This is just under 450 pages. Next up, at 18,784 votes, we have The Blackbird Oracle by Deborah Harkness. This is the first one that we will not be reading. It is the 5th book in the All Souls series. Now, I think it's one of those... Yeah, so it's very much... It's the 5th book. I am not reading that. I'm not reading 4 books to understand this one. So we will actually be skipping this one. Sorry to Deborah Harkness. She doesn't know who I am. So, she's not going to feel it, but just let you know. The next one, at 19,218 votes, is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, which happens to be another one that I own, but also part of my 25 to read in 2025, which is exciting. So The Tainted Cup, all I really know is that it's kind of Sherlock Holmes set in a Lovecraftian fantasy horror world. And it's a murder mystery. That's all I really know going into it. I love fantasy mysteries. I would also highly recommend The Hexologists by Josiah Bancroft. It's such a fun, inventive fantasy mystery. I would highly recommend it. But yeah, it says a peculiar crime, a brilliant investigator, a mystery of epic proportions. I'm very excited. I have a feeling, just because it takes fantasy and murder mystery, or mystery, which I love, that the mystery, thriller, murder mystery genre, I feel like this one is going to be rated quite highly. Now we're on to the final 8. The next one is The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer at 20,328 votes. So I saw this everywhere and just kind of didn't really seem that fussed by it, I'm being completely honest. I also, no offense to the cover, kind of thought it was one of those literary, character-focused lit fic books where they just gave it a kind of speculative-looking cover, but I am apparently wrong. Inspired by C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia, this wild and wondrous novel is a fairy tale for grown-ups who still knock on the back of wardrobes. Oh, this gives me slightly, Shanann Maguire vibes. Oh, I can't remember what the series is called. It reminds me of Every Heart a Doorway. So it follows best friends Jeremy and Rafe, who went missing in West Virginia for 6 months and then turn up as if nothing's changed. 15 years after their homecoming, Rafe is a reclusive artist who still bears scars inside and out but has no memory of what happened. And Jeremy has become a famed missing persons investigator. With his uncanny abilities, he's the one who can help vet tech Emily Wendell find her sister who vanished in the same forest as Rafe and Jeremy. Jeremy's the only one who knows the truth, that they were in a magical realm filled with impossible beauty and terrible danger, and he believes that's where you'll find Emily's sister. This sounds really, really good. I'm sorry, Meg Schaefer, I didn't respect or understand your work. This sounds fucking incredible. I'm excited to read this one. $9.99 for a Kindle book. Jesus. Moving on, we then have at 21,029 votes, we have The Foxwife by Yangza Chu. Loads of people, and I'm talking loads of people who weren't even fantasy readers, were asking me about this book for ages last year. This has been out since February of 2024, so the paperback should be out soon. Some people think foxes are similar to ghosts because we go around collecting chi, but nothing could be further from the truth. We are living creatures just like you, only usually better looking. So it's set in Manchuria in 1908, in the last years of the dying Qing Empire, and a courtesan is found frozen in a doorway. Her death is clouded by rumours of foxes, which are believed to lure people by transforming themselves into beautiful women and handsome men. Bao, a detective. What? Fantasy detectives! I love it so much. With an uncanny ability to sniff out the truth, is hired to uncover the dead woman's identity. And I'm not going to read any more, but that sounds fucking insane. That should be out in paperback soon. I'm going to find out. Oh, but it is a 99p deal. It's a 99p deal. So we're getting it just for the 99p deal. And again, if I really like it, I may buy a physical copy, but for a 99p on Kindle, you just got to do it. Next on the list is one that I already own. This is the final one that I own. This is 5 Broken Blades by May Corland. This has 28,356 votes. I was kind of told this was similar, like if you're a fan of Six of Crows, that you would enjoy this. A lot of trigger warnings at the beginning. So this follows 5 people who are notorious liars, the most dangerous liars, all hired to commit a job which is to kill the king. Kill God King June. That is all I'm going to leave you with, because I feel like when stuff like that, you shouldn't really know anything else. But I believe it was comped Six of Crows. So I enjoyed Six of Crows. So I'm hoping I will enjoy it. Then with 28,376 votes, it is Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff, which I won't be reading because it is the sequel. And I am not reading the first Empire of the Damned. That is not happening. So sorry. Then at 33,455 votes are the book. I own it! I own it. So at 33,455 votes, it is The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. Basically just about magical books. It's basically about magical books. New York bookseller Cassie Andrews is living an unassuming life when she is given a book by a favourite customer. At the very front is a handwritten message. This is the Book of Doors. Hold it in your hand and any door is every door. So I don't know whether she travels into different worlds, or I'm not sure. I'm guessing that's the case, that she can travel into books a little bit in carty vibes. But yeah, so there you go, another one that I own. Woo! But yeah, this one came fourth. I didn't really see much about it online, so good on it winning. Not winning. Good on it getting high up. Then we're on to the top 3, which is ironic because it's only really, this is the last one I'm going to read. So the last one I'm going to read at 50,157 votes is Emily Wilde's Map of Otherlands, because I have already read the first Emily Wilde book. And I'll be honest with you, I did not. It's not that I didn't enjoy it. That's a lie. I think I actually gave it 4 stars. Like, I thought it was a really enjoyable book. There was no desire to continue reading it. Does that make sense? Sometimes you can just enjoy a book and be like, cool, I'm fine. I'm done with that. I'm good with that. And that's how I felt about the Emily Wilde book. I am going to buy that on my Kindle because I don't really care about owning a copy. That's the only one that I will read that's a sequel because I've personally read the first one. So I don't have to get another book to read it, if that makes sense. And then the last 2 books are Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, which is 68,564 votes. Now, I tried to read Leigh Bardugo's book the month before it came out in hardback. I actually still have it somewhere here. I couldn't get into it personally, and I DNF'd it, which is such a shame because I actually do quite like Leigh Bardugo's work. But I just really couldn't get into it. It wasn't really my thing. I really struggled with just the pacing and just honestly just literally getting into, like, you know, sometimes you'll read a book and your brain will suddenly like shoot in on it and you're like, oh wow, I'm in this now. You know, when your brain, it kind of just like locks in and you're like, cool, I'm in it, I'm connected to the story. I didn't really get that with The Familiar. So I only read about 50 pages and then I DNF'd it. So I think it's best maybe not to bring that back. So I won't be reading Leigh Bardugo because I've already read it. Well, I hadn't read it, but you know. And then the last one, which is ironically the winner, is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. He won with 69,854 votes. But this is the second book in the House from the Cerulean Sea series, which I am not reading. As I've said, I've stated, I will not be reading the follow-up. I will not be reading a sequel if I haven't already read the first book. So because of that, I won't be reading the winner, which seems really silly. And I think a lot of you are going to be going, well, what's the point if you're going to read all these books and not read the winner? Because it's my channel and I can do what I want. And it's my reading. So there you go. But there we go. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'll be rating and ranking 15 of the long list. This is incredibly exciting. I'm very much looking forward to doing this. So the goal with how the videos will go is this one will go up. This is just like the rules, the TBR, all of this, the discussions. And then I plan on reading. So once I get The Sweet Sting of Salt, I'll read it straight away. And I'm still deciding how I'm going to do my reading vlogs, whether I'm going to do one per book and then my final rating and ranking video at the end, or whether I'll do a couple and see how I feel. I think it all depends on the book, because if I read A Sweet Sting of Salt and I love it, it's great. But if I DNF it and I'm like, this is rubbish, then I'll just jump on. And it all depends on how I feel in the moment. So there's not going to be one really big, long 2-hour vlog of me reading every single one. I do want to release it in parts. Because also the thing is as well, is I want to read some other books that I've got in the pipeline as well. So I think it's good just to release each book as it comes. Oh, this is going to be exciting. Please follow along with me in this journey. And if you've read any of these books, like, please let me know. Let me know which ones you liked, which ones you didn't like, which ones you voted for. That would be really, really good. Yeah, please let me know. I am excited to give this a go. Hopefully you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe and all of that fun stuff. You can find me anywhere. India Reads a Lot on every single social media platform. I'm everywhere. Literally, I'm in your house. And yeah, thank you so much. Please anticipate A Sweet Sting of Salt. Hopefully I really, really enjoy that. And hopefully this will be really, really good. And then maybe I'll consider maybe YA fantasy next. Who knows? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.